So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today we have two members from a band that's from Seattle, and they play thrash metal. They're called Colony Drop, and they're about to drop a new album this Friday. So I have there's the album Brace for Impact, which is going to be out this Friday. So you better brace for impact. So I have Ben Burton and Eric Harris for the band. So first of all, how are you guys today?
Great.
I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well. It's a nice evening here in Seattle.
Nice. No rain in Seattle?
Actually, a little rain today. It actually rained a little.
Rain, some smoke from the wildfires.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So tell us what you do in the band.
My name's Eric. I play the drums. And yeah, just provide the beats.
I'm Ben. I play the other lead guitar. We have two guitarists, so I'm the other lead.
Nice. So thank you guys for taking time to talk with me, and obviously the album that's coming out on Friday. So for those of you, for the people that don't know the band, tell us like some history behind the band and how you guys got together.
Okay. I'll start. So I knew the singer Joseph because we were jamming a little bit in sort of a just kind of a little metal band. And I was playing drums at the time, and we had a mutual acquaintance, and that's how we met. And then I met Ryan at a boxing gym that I was going to. I moved to Seattle around 5 years ago, and then I'm a boxer, so I was boxing at this gym, and then I heard Ryan talking about all this anime and Japan stuff that I like. I'm kind of a anime nerd. And so I was like, oh, this guy likes boxing and anime. And he was going to Japan, and that's kind of something I'm interested in. So we were just talking about that, kind of bonding about stuff like that. But what really surprised me was shortly after meeting Ryan at the boxing gym, I went to a local music shop called The Trading Musician. It's this great music shop in Seattle that basically sells a lot of used and vintage gear. And I went in there to get some gear, and I see that Ryan was working there, and it turns out he was like a musician as well. And then it turned out we also like the same kind of music, particularly grindcore, like blast beats and just crazy fast music. That was like kind of my favorite thing, and we sort of bonded over that. And through that, Ryan started jamming with me and Joseph, and then that old band that we had basically just sort of dissolved. And a few months passed, and in around 2019, Joseph and Ryan approached me with talking about playing music again. And I said I want to play guitar and not drums because guitar is my main instrument. And so we decided, let's start a band. Let's try to make a band that we like. Ryan had some old demos that we were interested in trying out, and then we needed a drummer. And then that's where kind of Eric came in. So Eric, you can take it away.
Yeah. So that I actually had a similar story on entering the band. Although I'm not into boxing, and I am definitely much less versed in the anime as these guys, although I am getting into it, honestly. But I do need to buy drumsticks and other drum equipment. So I went to my local music store, which happened to be Trading Musician, which is where Ryan was working, and I walked in with a Yautja t-shirt, and he immediately was like, "Hey, I know those guys. Like, what, like, are you a drummer? Like, blah blah blah." He's all chatting me up, and then like 5 or 10 minutes later, it ends with him being like, "Hey, you want to like try out for this cool like metal band?" Kind of like I remember him describing it as like death and roll.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds pretty intriguing. And I mean, I think within a few weeks I had auditioned, and we all got along, and that was about 4 years ago.
Yeah, that was
before the pandemic.
Yeah, right before the pandemic, like the end of the summer before of 2019. So we were practicing together, writing songs, making demos, and looking for a bassist. And it wasn't until 2020, like late summer of 2020, I think. What do you
Oh
think?
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
maybe
yeah,
like
20 or 21, I forget.
it might have been 2 years, man. Shit. Yeah, it might have been 2 years of us playing without a bassist because of the pandemic, just writing our songs
No,
and
you're right. I think it was 1 year.
okay, good, good.
Yeah.
So we kept putting the word out. Various people tried out, but it wasn't really clicking. And then Ari was a friend of Joseph. They knew each other through their music and their writing that they do. And Joseph sent Ari the demos, and Ari, like, I guess, loved them. And what he did was he recorded his own bass parts over the demos before even meeting us, and just sent us his like bass recording of some of our demo songs. And we were just like so impressed by how like he just basically was able to learn the songs without even meeting us. So we had him come to practice, and it all kind of became just like really, really a natural fit. And we started playing shows. We started solidifying our songs, and by last year, we recorded this album. Starting last May, and then throughout the year, we were doing the tracking and recording, and so we get to have this album come out. So
Awesome. And
Yeah.
guess what, Ben? I also took boxing lessons.
All right, yeah.
I used to go to when I was living in Miami. I used to go to a Floyd Mayweather boxing gym. So
Oh,
it's
no
like,
kidding. That's great.
yes, great. It's a great workout. Like,
I
yeah,
love
yeah, the
boxing.
stance. I had a great trainer that every time if I put my hands down just
Slap
a
you.
little bit, he would
Yeah.
hit me with a
Slap.
foam thing. He's like,
That's
put your hands up. Bah!
that's the best way to learn.
Yes, best way to learn. So yeah, it's awesome when I'm like, yeah, it's a great sport. So so you guys being in Seattle, me growing up, the last thing I thought of Seattle was thrash metal. But offline, I was talking to you that a few months ago, I interviewed another thrash metal band from Seattle called Banishment. And apparently there's a big thrash metal scene now in Seattle. So talk to me a little bit about that Seattle thrash metal scene.
I think it's just Seattle extreme metal. There's so many bands here that are like any kind of metal. Could be death, grind, doom, mix of all those genres. I think we're in a thriving scene right now because every weekend there's going to be a show of several kind of various types of metal bands that are usually fast or heavy, a mix of both.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Plenty of hardcore and punk and just yeah, I think Seattle has a history of embracing like non-mainstream forms of music in general.
Yeah.
So we're kind of lucky to like be a part of that, I think. But the
yeah.
thrash scene specifically is great. One of my favorites are Command,
I interviewed them
Oxygen
too.
Destroyer.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
on.
yeah. A couple other bands right now that I really like from here. One is called Solicitor.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and then Denial of Life is another band, and they're all kind of recent bands, just sort of coming up, and they just play amazing shows and great music. So
Yeah, those are cool band names. When I was in high school, me and my friends we wanted to make a band. I don't know if you were thrash metal, but we had a name that we thought was cool at the time. But now when I think about it, sounds corny. We were called Uncultured.
Uncultured, very,
Yes.
very cool.
I'm like,
I
what
like
the
it.
hell are we uncultured? Here's uncultured. Yeah, but yeah, we never we never went anywhere, sadly.
Like a yogurt that hasn't been finished.
Exactly. So I'll listen to this is your debut album, and I listened to it, and it's got that crossover thrash. It's very much like 80s, like thrash metal, early 90s influence. So on that note, talk to me a little bit. Who were your musical influences growing up? And we
Um,
can, I can start with Ben, and then we can do Eric.
cool.
Yeah.
Growing up, I think one of the first type of music that really excited me growing up was just skate punk. So like all those Epitaph record bands like Bad Religion or No Effects. I would buy the Punkorama CDs and like get
Oh,
really
I
excited.
had those.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And if
And
you
I would read,
played Tony Hawk
of course, and
also.
yes, I
Tony
can't
Hawk.
talk about not like I can't understand how Tony Hawk the soundtrack just like changed my life. I love that band Millen Colin from that
Yeah.
like,
Oh my God,
Suicidal
yes.
Tendencies. And then AFI is like my like was one of my favorite bands when I was a little kid, in middle school. So punk and like fast music like that, with a bit of melody, I really like. And then through high school, I just kind of branched out into all sorts of different types of music, different types of metal, hardcore, etc. But then, like, these days, and kind of since joining this band a little bit before it for my guitar playing, I think Judas Priest is like the most biggest influence in like the way I think about how I want to write songs and melody and how I want to play guitar, and that kind of energy. But then there's also definitely the classics like Megadeth, um, as well. And then another, I think, influence is this band called Death Side from Japan. And they're kind of
Nice.
a hardcore band with this, but that would kind of incorporate. They were like hardcore punk, but they had their guitarist. His name is Chelsea. He would do a lot of like these great soaring leads in different parts that kind of made the sound really unique and melodic, but also still punk. And that's what informed my my approach for this band.
Yeah, you do not sound punk at all. Oh, although Cross Over Thrash has some punk, but
Yeah,
definitely not pop punk.
yeah.
What about you, Eric? What influenced you growing up as a drummer?
I'd say that I was raised on kind of a steady diet of classic rock and hard rock, prog rock, like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple. Also listened to a lot of bands like Yes and King Crimson, and I was kind of like raised in like a music guitar centric environment. Like I've always any kind of band that's gonna have a epic guitar solo, I'm instantly drawn to. And then of course, as I got older, I wanted to explore more extreme versions of all this. So getting into like hardcore, grindcore, and just, and even just kind of experimental music, even some noise and ambient music. It's all really on the table for me. But I do find myself going back to bands like Deep Purple, uh, King Crimson, Billy Cobham is actually one of my biggest drumming influences. He's like a jazz fusion drummer from 70s and on. He played with Mahavishnu Orchestra. Um, yeah, he's kind of like just he made things that I didn't think were possible playing drums, like melodically and compositionally. Um, nowadays, like especially with Colony Drop, I don't try to do anything with my drumming that's too off the wall. I usually try to play what's appropriate for the song, but I am influenced by a lot of off the wall kind of styles.
Yeah, you never know if Colony Drops gets bigger. You may do like the Tommy Lee and had that had the drum the drum that goes in. They go upside down and stuff like
That would
that.
be amazing.
And the
I always
sex
wondered
change.
how. I always wonder what the sensation is like to play upside down. It looks really
You know
difficult.
what I always wondered, Eric? You might if he's playing and it gets stuck with him upside down, like for a minute, like all the blood will rush to the head. I don't know. I'm thinking it's dangerous, but yeah. Uh, like if
I
you
think
think about,
he was using performance enhancing drugs.
oh yeah, well, we all know that he had the two sticks in his hand and the
Mhm.
stick in his pants that he
Yes,
can
we
use to
do.
also play the drums if he wanted to. Oh my.
Yeah.
You can send the
See?
blood elsewhere.
Yeah, yes, we're very serious here in the Shield Dude on a couch, but we're talking thrash metal, fun times. So this is a fun time record, and I gotta say, when I got the promo pictures of you guys, they have you dressed like very Steel Panther. I'm gonna get that picture soon.
Yeah.
I'll get it soon. But yeah, it's like when I look at that picture and I listen to, if I hadn't listened to the music, I'm like, they look a
Yeah.
little bit like glam on this picture. Let me get that. Let me get one of those pictures while we're talking here. And before that, so yeah, the album artwork. I'm gonna show the album artwork a little bit more here. I know you have it, but yeah, who
Yeah.
worked on this album artwork? Because it's pretty, it's pretty like sci-fi, brace for impact. It's really, I think of Municipal Waste. I think of those crossover thrash band, like fun bands. Tell me what you wanted to convey with this album artwork.
The artist is Matt Sticker. I think he's in Portland. He's also in a band called Drouth. His Instagram is @bargainbinblasphemy. So check out his art. He's doing a lot of art for bands around here, and bands in the metal scene. And we were kind of keeping an eye on him because when we were thinking about somebody to do art, we wanted somebody who would basically draw a planet getting with a big space colony crashing into it, and somebody who could make that kind of impactful comic book-esque sci-fi drawing. And he did a lot of cool work with bands that were local and also with other bigger groups. He also does like art for like Magic the Gathering cards, so he's kind of a nerd like us, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got a lot of cool stuff he's doing, and so we decided to approach him. We just gave him the general idea, like because he was doing some other kind of sci-fi-esque art, and I saw him like draw a planet that looked like it was exploring. I was like, oh, this guy can probably do it if we just ask him. So I had Joseph approach him. It was really easy. Like we just trusted him with it, and he gave us this great kind of image of I think exactly what we're going for: a colony dropping into a planet, exploding. We got the name Brace for Impact. I think
it's really on the nose.
It's really
I
on
think
the nose.
the artwork speaks for itself.
It sure does. I wanted it to be iconic, like this is exactly what you're gonna get. The name Brace for Impact, I'm pretty sure was just, I think Eric said it one time, and it just kind of.
Yeah, I just kind of.
You did kind of.
He just kind of blurted it out at practice, and then everyone looks at me and they're like, "That's it."
And it just embodies the whole imagery that I think.
Yeah, it's catchy. It's fun to say. You're like, just imagine you're starting the show and you're like, we're calling the Brace for Impact, motherfuckers.
Exactly. Every time.
And yeah, it's like it's very fresh metal. So yeah, so what's the I know we saw the front. Do you have the so we can see the back?
Let me pull up the back too. Yeah. It's just for the LP. It's just a nice little detail from the art with our song titles on A side and B side. There's 2 LPs that are available, and then we have an insert, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, got a nice little insert. Here's our just a little lyric sheet again with the art.
That's good that you put lyrics because
yeah. Joseph is a really great. I mean, Joseph is a writer or a vocalist and some pictures.
The lyrics are. I mean, I didn't even know what they were while we were writing the songs, but now that I finally have a lyric sheet, I can read along with the songs, and I'm like, wow, Joseph, you're like, extremely eloquent.
That's what that song is about.
Yeah,
exactly.
We got a red vinyl for this one.
Oh, that looks sick, man.
Yeah, a red one, and then I'll go get a blue one. 2 variants of vinyl. Red is through Wise Blood Record. There's only, I think, only 100 copies through Wise Blood through their Bandcamp.
Yeah, I'll put the link there so people can snatch those babies.
Yeah, and then the main label that is pressing us is Nameless Grave, and they did the blue vinyl. Looks like this. Very nice blue.
Yeah, I like the red one better. I don't know why.
Well, it's all, yeah, the red or blue. Then of course we got CDs. as
Yeah,
well.
I got a CD right here.
So blue and the blue vinyl and the CDs are all through the Nameless Grave records, ordered on
Nice.
Bandcamp, and then the red through Wise Blood records. And yeah, by all means.
So how excited are you guys to, being a newer band and having your first album put out there? It has to be really, really fucking exciting.
Oh yeah, big time. That's a first for me, honestly. I've never been a part of a group that was approached by a label and wanted to fund a release. So that, yeah, it's really, it's an honor, and yeah, it makes me, it gives you more motivation to keep doing this,
Yeah.
So Eric, in the other bands that you were in, did you keep the rejection letters of like we think your band is great, just not that great to put out a record out?
Yeah, I think you're lucky if you get a rejection letter nowadays, honestly.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I'm talking about my day job is I actually interview like people for a living, and I've gotten those rejection letters where that it's like, although your experience is very impressive, it's not as impressive as these other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't know that, but it's good to know. But it's exciting. You put in the work, you put in the hours, and now you're releasing your baby into the wild.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have like a album release show?
We're trying to put one together, hopefully in November. Right now, we're just still trying to figure out the bands that we can get to play. But yes, hopefully we'll get a nice album release show.
We're gonna have a nice theatrical release at some point.
Yeah, yeah. And then our upcoming show we're really excited about. It's on September 1st. We're going to be playing with Yob, Ludacra, Helms Ali, and Year of the Cobra at the Spanish Ballroom in Tacoma.
Nice. Did you say Yob, like YOB? The dude
Yeah.
that
Yep.
yeah, I'm like, that's a name I've heard.
Yeah. So we're really honored to open up that show because Yob is a legendary band.
Oh yeah,
Ludacra
when I heard the name, I'm like, I know that name. Yeah, and plus it's a different type of audience because Yob is more like doom.
They're doomy, right? But they're also
yeah.
they're weirdos, they're weird, and I think they're nerds like us. So I think it's gonna work out. Ludacra too. They're kind of like a black metal band with a lot of experimental tendencies, and it's one of their last shows, and they're kind of a band that people really love. So it's just an honor to be with a couple of.
It's funny because a lot of people are afraid of metalheads, and basically we're all like pretty nerdy. Like,
yeah, we're pretty nerdy.
Yeah, before I was interviewing, I was out on a date. And we were like talking. She's like, I'm like, oh, this is what I do. I'm like, I also interview bands on YouTube, and she's like, that's interesting. Yeah, so yeah, it's different. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I'm like, I get the music first before everyone else. So it's cool. So basically, people shouldn't be afraid of metalheads that much. Basically, usually metalheads are soft, like nice people who like nerdy stuff. Like people are afraid of a guy in a suit and a tie.
I think those are the scariest people.
Those are the scary motherfuckers right there.
People in a suit and a tie. You gotta watch out for those folks.
Yeah. So
we're just trying to have fun.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about the album. Some of the, like, for you guys, we can go like, which is your favorite song on the album and why? And which song is the one that was the hardest to work on?
I'll let Eric go first.
So that's kind of hard. That's a tough question. One of my favorite songs that we do, I think is kind of like a short, concise, really fun, exciting song is Patient Zero. And I really like how that one came out. I'm like really proud of the drum arrangements, and just overall, I think it's a real rager, and it amps me up while I'm playing it. I'm glad that it's in our set because it really I feel like it gets the juices flowing for me anyway. But other than Patient Zero, I think I the most challenging one, I feel like it might be Remade. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why.
That's the second one.
That's the second track. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a longer one, and it requires my full attention.
You're doing a lot in that
Yeah.
one from the beginning.
Yeah.
You were like, hey guys, can we have like a Stairway to Heaven type of song where like I can chill for 3 minutes
Nope.
and then I can play the
You gotta start with a blast, dude.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's right after Brace After Impact. That's a great
Yeah.
album opener because it really gets like for thrash metal, I think you need to have a great album opener and a great
Mhm.
album closer because like right off the bat you want to get people
Yeah.
like pumped, and that's what Brace for Impact did for me.
Yeah.
Which yeah, I thought it's good. So those are the two songs that Eric picked. What about you, Ben?
I think my favorite song would be the Goof, the very last song. That's also the last song we play live. That song came together really easily as a band. And
Yeah, I have questions around like what is the goat?
it's a robot. Here, let me go get one. Let me go get one. 1 second.
Good question.
I'm like, it's the greatest of all time. That would be the goat. So yeah,
I'm sure he can tell you all about it.
oh, let me look at
This little guy. This guy. So there's a anime series called Mobile Suit Gundam. All of these different robots, and I wrote the riff, or we wrote the riff in the song, and then Joseph says, "I want to write a song about this robot. It's called the Goof." There's an episode of a series in Gundam where this particular robot is just kicks so much ass, and he wanted to write a whole song in tribute to it. So all the lyrics are basically describing everything about this robot, the Goof, this mobile suit, and just like kind of I don't know how you put it, like sort of a tribute to this great, this robot. And then the song itself is just like a crushing, like walk down the street, like smash a building, get the fuck out of my way, kind of like,
it's the groove.
break down the house song. It has, and then our group vocals just came out really well in the very end. And it's just such a fun song to play. And then Ryan and I, when we're playing guitar live, we have a dance move for it. We call it the Goof Stomp. So we're like stomping as we play, and we hope that like people will catch on and start stomping when they hear that song and chanting along. So that song just really like I think it has the most like we end the album with it, we understand with it. It's about this awesome robot, and we got
Did you
dance.
need copyright to use the robot name?
I think it's under fair. What is it? Fair use.
It's fair use. It's fair use. Good,
So,
good.
it's a tribute.
There's a Puerto Rican crossover thrash metal band called Fulminator, and they also have a robot.
Oh, cool.
If you guys come here, you could play with them because it's that style. And the first time I saw them, nobody knew that the robot was coming out. All of a sudden, you see this robot with the lasers.
We need a robot. We don't have a robot yet. It's about
now you need.
Now we need a robot. Oh my god.
You should YouTube, go on YouTube later and look up, check out Fulminator, and there has to be videos of them playing. Fulminator, yeah. Instead of Terminator, it's Fulminator, and they're a really cool crossover thrash metal band from Puerto Rico, and they sing in English too. So I think you guys would dig it, and I could see you guys playing a show.
I think we're gonna play together. Of course.
Yeah, it would be a fun
I think there's
time.
like no question in it.
You should make a robot, and then we would make like the like a
battle.
Like a robot fight. Like the robot come and fight, and you could do like a dueling band battle.
That's my dream.
That would be you heard it here. Yeah, that would be awesome.
So
yeah, that would be your first song. What's the song that was harder for you?
The song that the song that was the hardest was the song called Supplicant. Yeah, that one is just I think as a band, we're trying a lot of different things with the writing of that song, in terms of like what kinds of riffs we could do, and sort of the song structure. So it was, I think, the most difficult song as a whole to. It's always our most difficult song when we were writing it, and then when we went to recording it, like that was kind of like, I think, in a lot of our heads, like when we were like, oh, we got to record Supplicant now, you know, and there's a lot of different parts, and is it going to translate as well as we hoped? So that was the hardest song, I think, to realize as the band.
Nice. So I think I got the picture down. I wanted to take the picture of you guys from the promo. I'm gonna get that quick, but where did you take those pictures?
Is it the one with the neon lights?
Let me check, because there's a few pictures here. I'm gonna check which one, because I'm gonna use one of those pictures actually for the thumbnail. But no, this is not the one that I saw with the thumbnail. But you took a few pictures, I think.
I just gotta see which one you're talking about.
Yeah, let me get it because there's like 5 pictures that they send you, and they send me like the logo.
Yeah.
So when you guys were coming up with the name Colony Drop, how did you decide on that name?
So I guess this was before we met Eric.
Yeah.
I think it just, so me, Ryan, and Joseph, very much into anime. I don't know who said it first. I don't know if it was me, because I've thought of this name Colony Drop for a long time, or if they were also thinking about it. But Colony Drop, I think if you look it up, it's a trope for science fiction. It's the common, scene in a lot of different science fiction series where somebody's trying to crash a space colony into a planet as a way to, cause chaos and terror. And particularly, it comes from the series Gundam, which we're friends with. Yes,
it's the picture.
Okay, good. So yeah, so this is in front of a restaurant in my neighborhood called Zaina. It's a Middle Eastern restaurant that makes this great food. But what's so cool about this place is that they're covered in neon on the outside. So I thought, like, oh, let's try at least get some pictures of us standing in front of this amazing restaurant with the neon, dressed how we already kind of dressed live. I got the tiger shorts my wife made custom for me. I got my boxing.
Those are something, man.
My Godzilla shirt, and everybody else. Eric, what about you? What's going on there?
I am like a
Which one is Eric?
Construction guy. So I had a bigger beard in this photo.
Which one are you? I'm trying to locate you. Are you the guy with the?
I'm between. I'm second from the left.
Are you the guys with the? Are you the one with the jumper?
The overalls.
Yeah.
The overalls. Yeah, the overalls. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is my construction persona. My day job is I'm an electrician. So I figured that'd be a decent persona in this context.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, when I saw that picture, I'm like, this is hilarious. Like you can tell that these guys have a sense of humor, so it's gonna be fun talking with them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm gonna use that as the thumbnail. It's
awesome.
Because it just looks cool. But yeah, when you think about it, like if I'm not, I felt like they look like a Steel Panther like thing, like they're gonna do like a glam thing. But no, the music is all thrash metal crossover. So yeah, it's a great picture. So you guys just took it, and plus you have the boxing the things.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. So yeah, we talked a little bit about the music of the album and the shows that you're doing. So before I let you guys go, since you're a thrash metal band, I'm going to ask each one of you, like, which one is like your top 5 thrash metal albums of all time, and you can say why on each piece. So we could do, or like first we could do like Ben's top 5 or Eric top 5, or we could do like something that first Ben gives his number 5, then Eric gives his number 5, and that way it it's good for people to think about it. What do you guys think?
I gotta think. I needed some time to think. I might have, for some reason, 5 bands off the top of my head. Maybe Eric and I can get 5 bands together.
Yes, let's do
Yeah.
that.
We can definitely
Both
come up
of
with
you,
five.
5 bands together.
Yeah. Eric, how would you start?
Well, I'd say, do you know Watchtower?
I actually don't know them.
What? I forget. Here, let me look up the name of the album. This one definitely got me really into thrash metal.
Okay, yeah.
I'm actually having trouble finding the name of the album. There's
Okay, why?
another one. Another one that I really like is the band Toxic with a Toxik.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great thrash metal band from New Jersey, and they put out an album called Think This, and it's just epic guitar playing, crazy falsetto vocals, super fast, like chaotic riffs. Late '80s, early '90s style. It's really worth checking out.
Okay, yeah. Nice. I'll check them out. What about you, Ben?
I guess one that kind of comes to mind, Demolition Hammer, Epidemic of Violence. It's like
Yeah.
it's a crazy album. Like they're just hard.
It's got a cool title too.
And it has the cover is great. Like it's just this. They're just so like they don't fuck around. Like they're like thrash, but they're like they sound mean. Like they sound like tough guys. And the music is just really like it's like borderline grindcore, but not blasting, but just thrashing. It's like hitting the limit of that. So that's an album that I always think is great in terms of like hard, like being like a not really a fun thrash band, but like a angry thrash.
Okay, yeah. I think we have 2 more picks.
And then another one is a Razor, Shotgun Justice.
Oh yeah.
This band is so funny, man. They're so like I think they're the things they sing about, like beating the shit out of somebody or for not paying them, or or how shitty Miami is or something like.
Oh, I can tell you, I lived in Miami. It's really overrated and shitty.
Yeah, they have a song about how shitty Miami is, but they're from Canada, I think, right?
It
They're from
is Miami, unless you're like really young and really into cocaine, then you will love Miami.
They have a song. It's called Miami. It's about how shitty Miami is. And it's so good. And then they got all these, they're just like, another band that sings about violence, just being violent. But like, the production is really. What?
Speaking of violence, the band Violence.
Oh, Violence, yes.
Eternal Nightmare by Violence.
Yeah.
One of my favorite thrash albums, of course.
Yeah. So.
I thought of one that you and I would definitely agree on, Ben.
What?
And that is Mental Vortex by Coroner.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's a big influence.
That's a big one for the whole band, really.
The whole band, Coroner. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they're thrash, but then they're trying to do things with the music. They're trying to be a little clever, with their songwriting, or try to do things that are technically very difficult on guitar or drums. Coroner is definitely something that we've all share as kind of a core influence in the band.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome picks and different. It's not like the usual names that sometimes people bring. So yeah, very interesting. So people, the new album, the debut album by Colony Drop, Brace for Impact, will be out this Friday, October the 25th. So pre-order that shit. They have it on CD. They have it on vinyl, or you can stream it or pay it on Bandcamp. I'll put the links so people can get. And if you saw the video, they have 2 variants. They have the blue and the red.
That's right.
Yeah, so they both look cool, so you can get it. and obviously support these newer bands. So because the old thrash metal bands, they're getting old. They're retiring soon. And we need new bands to fly the torch for thrash metal. So so I've interviewed a few of those younger thrash metal bands here on the channel, and I always like thrash metal. So it's fun music. And if you guys play Puerto Rico, you and Fulminator live, that would be amazing.
Yes, the battle of the ages.
The battle of the robots.
The robot battle.
One
That would be
robot,
incredible.
one robot will remain at the end.
Yes, yes.
So
We have to get in touch with these guys.
Yeah,
We got
anything,
it.
yeah. We need to schedule that. So, any last words that you like to say to people that watch this video before we go?
Brace for impact.
Very subtle. Right?
Yes. Please give it a listen. Thank you so much, Hector. This has been great.
Thank you, Hector.
No,
Thank you.
I'm having lots of fun. You know, it's the interviews here are informal. They're fun. I'm not like this guy. This like with the heart, like with the very serious tone. No, we like to have fun here. And Brace for Impact is that's what you get. It's a fun, thrash crossover metal record.
We like to have fun too.
Yeah, and the lyrics we haven't read them, and they didn't write them. The singer wrote them. So, but they're pretty. They're pretty catchy. The songs that I really enjoyed. I'm gonna pick my favorite songs from the record. I really enjoyed "Brace for Impact." I think "Stand Against the World" is like that 2.5 minute short burst, and obviously the Ghost. Those were my three favorites.
Nice.
From the album.
Those are our staples for the set.
Yeah, and now you need the Ghost, like you need a robot. So when the show, everyone would write like, "Bring out the Ghost." And
I don't know. I don't think we can bring out the goof, but we can bring out.
No, you need to
inspired robot. That's a tribute to
the Colony Dropper.
We might. Well, we're in research and development for our own robots. So,
and every thrash metal, every other, Megadeth has Big. Metallica has Lars Ulrich. Yeah, that's Anthrax. I don't know what Anthrax had.
They have that little guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah, but I don't even know his name. And Slayer, well, they had Satan.
Yeah, DRI has DRI guy.
Yeah, the DRI guy.
We got DRI.
Which is like this. And they played here in Puerto Rico a few years ago.
Yeah. We played with them. We got to open for them last year. It was so awesome.
It was a 40th anniversary world tour, I believe.
40th anniversary. Amazing.
You guys have some cool opening shows.
And we've been so lucky.
People, if you're in the Seattle area, don't miss their show on September 1st, right? Or September
1st with Yob.
September 1st, they're opening for YOB. So that's going to be huge.
Heavy.
Yob, yeah. YOB. So, yeah. So people, check out Colony Drop if you like thrash metal. And their new album is out this Friday. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch. And I'll see you right here on the couch. And everyone, brace for fucking impact.